So to have somebody who can be a mentor and share different experiences and maybe a different way of life or just something new for them to show them possibilities, that's huge.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Missions That Made Them. I am your host, Jason Verdelli. This isn't just a podcast, but rather it's a movement. It's a movement designed to make the world a better place by bringing more awareness to the great work of the people and organizations making a difference, and more importantly, how you can help. We live in a world today surrounded by a narrative in the media that focuses in on negativity and draws attention to the problems, but not the solutions. Our guests represent the solutions, not the problems. And with that, I am super excited to have Brenda Frazier on with the Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northern Sierra, and we're going to learn everything about what Big Brothers and Big Sisters is about, what they're about, and what they're doing. This is of course an organization that has spread its wings over the entire United States, and each of the areas is really unique in what they do. And I absolutely love this organization. I've supported this organization myself through the years in my local organization here. And just, to really pave the way for a better future for our younger generation that is growing up and really giving them mentorship and so forth. So just super excited. Brenda, welcome.
Thank you. And thank you, Jason, for having me. What a nice introduction. Thank you.
Yeah, I do these quite a bit, so that's the benefit of it. So, Brenda, tell us a little bit about, in general, what Big Brothers and Big Sisters is all about.
Well, first I'll tell you that our organization was founded in 1904, and it was really started because a gentleman who worked in the court system saw sort of a revolving door of youth coming in, that he felt that if they had a mentor in their life, that the recidivism rate would go down quite a bit. Just kids that long ago in 1904 got in a little bit of trouble, but he felt that a mentor would help them out. And we are now the oldest and the largest mentoring agencies. We have about 240 affiliates nationwide. So our mission is really to create and support one-to-one mentoring relationships that ignite the power and promise of youth. So we believe that every single child has potential, but every kiddo needs a champion, someone who's in their corner and someone who believes in them and encourages them to reach their fullest potential. So our bigs come along. They're volunteers who are really caring people. They want to serve, and they do serve as positive role models and friends and mentors who really simply introduce them to new opportunities and experiences. That's who we are.
That's incredible. So, and I really love, you go to BBBSNS, so BBBSNS.org. Check them out. I really love the video, Brenda, on your website. I think it was on the Today Show. They had their Today Show video on there with the policemen, and they talked a little about how obviously there's sort of the people in some of these organizations that that have been in the police, obviously, that have done bad things potentially, that have caused can cause sort of an issue, especially with the youth. That. That's okay. I think, but them, you see stories like this, where, and I love stories like this because it really shows you, hey, there are really, really, really great people out there. And, and I think as a society, sometimes we have a tendency to generalize things and saying, okay, well, all cops are bad if this one or these couple people make a bad choice. But yet there's other cops out there that, for instance, that are doing something like this, that are getting involved with youth and becoming bigs, right? So I really love that what you guys are doing there, for sure.
Yeah, there is a program called Bigs in Blue or Bigs with Badges too. Yeah. That it's a great program for kids that can be introduced to volunteer first responders, really the police, the fire department, anybody that's first responder. It gives them a whole new view and opinion of the officers and law enforcement community. They're not always seen in the most positive light, especially in these children's lives. So it's really a great program to be able to introduce to them.
Yeah. And what I love about too, what Big Brothers Big Sisters does is it gets you in front. It gets the younger generation. It gets them a one-to-one relationship, right? I think the problem with the media right now is we get so exposed to generalization of messaging. So you have, generally you have, sort of right wing, left wing type of thing. So you get these media outlets which are kind of swaying one way or the other, and you get mixed messaging. And if you're young, you don't know that. I didn't really know what the difference between the different parties and all that stuff was until I got older. And obviously, like nowadays, it's evident more than any time we've lived in, really. But that messaging can really, really, really cause problems, especially in younger generations that may not see that. So getting that one-to-one is just huge, isn't it?
It really is. It is huge. It's a nonpartisan issue, actually,
right.
to see a child with a little bit of a struggle that needs some additional support. It doesn't matter where they come from or their conditions in life, their situation in life. That is far beyond their little lives' control, the control of their young ages. So to have somebody who can be a mentor and share different experiences and maybe a different way of life or just something new for them to show them possibilities, that's huge.
Yeah. So you mentioned, Brenda, like some of the like Bigs in Blue, right, was the one.
Mm-hmm.
And, what are some of the other programs that are out there that are available?
Gosh, we have all kinds of programs, Jason. We really do.
That was a loaded question, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for that one. Bigs in Blue is just one of the programs. We offer site-based and our community-based programs. And let me explain to you what those are. Our site-based programs are programs that are usually in the school site. Sometimes they're facilitated by staff. Other times a mentor might go just on a lunch hour for a kiddo, visit them at school, maybe take them lunch. You might shoot some hoops on the basketball court, whatever it is, at the school. Sometimes we have group mentoring sessions. So the Bigs in Blue program that we have, for instance, they meet at the county library 1 hour every other week with the officers and all of the kids, but they're each assigned or matched to one another based on some very specific things I can go into later. But they get together and they have lunch. Maybe they do a little bit of homework, or maybe they have an activity, a building project, or they go out and throw the football around, or whatever it is that they choose to do, whatever their hobbies might be or their desires might be for that 1 hour, just to chat and bond and, have a friend for an hour. So that's just another kind of site-based program we have. Then our community-based programs, which are usually more familiar to people, is where a mentor will go to a child's home, typically pick them up, and then they go out into the community. Maybe they go to the movies or to a museum, or they go on a hike. Again, whatever it is that their interests are, and whatever time commitment they might have. So it's really very individualized.
So they're going to the schools, they're going to the homes, and really, like, they're coming to the child, which is really cool.
Absolutely.
So, it's for parents, I would imagine too. This is not like this extra thing. It's not, it's the big is actually the big. I guess they call them the bigs, or the is that the terminology, right? The
bigs, exactly.
Like big, you're big. Yep, yeah, that's right. Coming there, which I think is huge. So it's less of I don't want to say a burden, because it's not like the parents sometimes, it's not that they don't want that to happen, but, it makes it much more convenient for that that process to take
Sure.
place?
Sometimes the parents or guardians don't have the capacity to take a child to someplace. They might have a few siblings at home that parents or guardians are having to deal with. They might have a child with special needs to pack everybody in the car and drop another kiddo off. It's not always feasible. Sometimes they don't have transportation at all. So it's really nice that our mentors as volunteers will give their time in order to accommodate that. And that's who they are and what they do.
Yeah. So what are, a big part of what I talk about in the podcast here, and really why our listeners listen in, is to figure out how to support these types of programs, right? What are some of the things that people can do? Obviously, like donations, things like that. Can you cover a little bit of that, as well as like kind of maybe where donations? Somebody's here wants to either volunteer, become a big, or donate. What the impact on that is too.
Well, sure. Almost anybody can be a big. Really and truly, if you're 16 years or older, and you can pass our background checks, because safety is our primary concern for all of our children, you could be a big. So what we say is that people can participate. They can participate as a volunteer big if they have a little time and a big heart and the capacity to give of that time or their treasure or talent. They could participate as one of our event volunteers. We have events throughout the year that they could participate in, and they could be a donor. And that's always easy to do for some people if they don't have that time. So there are lots of different ways, and you can always find us on our website at, I think you mentioned it before, bbbsns.org is our website, and you can find out all the information for all the activities that we have coming up, our events, and or how to enroll as a big, if that's your interest and desire.
That's incredible. I think too is one of the biggest things. If you want to make a difference, if you're out there and you're like saying to yourself, "Hey, I want to make a difference in the future of tomorrow," if you believe in that, what a better way to do that is to get hands-on, to be able to, play basketball, go to the school, pick them up at school, do adventures. I mean, I would imagine why, and let me ask you this question: why do bigs become bigs? So I'm sure you talk to these people all day long. What's I don't want to say what's in it for them, but what's the most important thing that they seem to take away from that experience?
I think one of the things that we have found, or that I have seen over the years, and I've been with the organization almost 10 years, I think for a big, they tell us over and over again, it is so rewarding for them to be able to give back in a way that they can see futures change for these kids. The outcomes are phenomenal, and they take a lot of pride, and they're grateful to have that opportunity. So it changes their lives as much as it does for the kids that we serve. So I think that's why people get involved. They have the intent, the good-hearted desire to just give back to the community in some way, and they join the organization, and they really come away with a lot more than they ever thought they would. So it's a great opportunity to be involved with a kiddo and see that transformation of their lives.
Yeah. You can't think of anything better than that. To be able to pass knowledge along, right? I think of all the stuff, all the mistakes I've made through the years. I am a walking example of failures through my entire life. I don't say failures entire life, but I made a lot of failures, had a lot of failures, stumbled on a lot of things, tried on a lot of things, but being able to pass that information along, and to be able to learn from that, as I would say, hey, I love talking to my grandmother, for instance, and my parents, because they've gone through the experience, right? You're saving how many years of your life, by asking questions to people that have gone down those roads and have those experiences. You don't make those same mistakes potentially, and to be able to pass that along, I would imagine, is just such a great it's not just a great feeling, but it's also a legacy. If you're in it for legacy, you want to, when you die, what are you going to leave behind? Well, it's the experiences that you have with other people, right? So what a better way to do that than to become a big, right?
Absolutely. And I wouldn't call anything that we do in life as a failure. I might call it a learning lesson. I honestly believe that every single, it's a learning lesson. Every single person in the world has done something that maybe they regret, or looking back on it, they would have done a little bit differently. But what a way to learn. I mean, those are lessons in life. And if you can share that little lesson with somebody who might be in a position to make the same type of mistake, and you can prevent that, yay. I mean, what a great opportunity to have. That doesn't mean that these kids aren't going to have their own mistakes, their own lessons that they learn. But, it does give them a little bit of a leg up. Somebody said a long time ago that just because you stop to reach back to help somebody up, it doesn't take you down. You're just pulling somebody up with you. And if you have that opportunity, like you said, what a great legacy. And these are relationships that last sometimes a lifetime. And it's amazing to see a kiddo. I have to tell you, I just got a little note, saw a picture from one of our kiddos, and it was one of the very first presentations I had done, like I said, 10 years ago. And this little girl, she was so doggone cute. And she kind of spilled the beans on her big sister, who had gotten married about 2 years before, that she was now going to be the big sister to this, her big sister, because her big sister was pregnant. Like I said, she spilled the beans before her big sister was really ready to tell the world that she was pregnant. That little girl is graduating from high school. Now, that little girl was in that big sister's wedding. And now she is graduating from high school. She was the flower girl in that big sister's wedding, and she's now the flower girl. And it has been over 12 years that they have been matched together.
Wow.
That's a lifetime of relationship building. And, they're a lot more than a big little. They're family, really. They're friends, and that is going to take her and those lessons that she was able to impart all the way through the rest of her life.
Yeah.
So,
what a better way to get involved? What a better way to be a part of the solution and not the problem, right?
Absolutely.
To take charge of that, to get involved, right? If you want to see change, don't just listen to the media, and don't just put on the news and say, oh, that's us. That's what we have going on here. This is shame on, our country's going down, everything else you hear, but no, that's not the truth. It's about you making the choice to go out and get involved. You making the choice to impress, to make the difference in somebody else's life. Right. If we all do that, this world becomes a better place, right? We could do this at scale. We can make this world a better place. But you need organizations like Big Brothers and Big Sisters to be able to make that happen, because you're orchestrating this process, right? For an individual person, it's hard to do what you do, right? It's hard to have an organization and get the support and to be able to go through that process of background checks and everything else. So, to be able to do what your organization does is amazing. But also as a regular person out there, even anybody listening to this, to get involved, go to bbbsns.org and get involved. Donate. If you don't have the time, maybe this isn't in the cards right now, but donate your dollars. What a better feeling. We spend $5 a gallon, $6 a gallon in gas. Don't even think. Well, I guess we do think about that now, but at least as we do this, that's a thing. But think about the dollars that you can donate, to an organization like this. That again, I think it's just what you are going to feel better. You want a better way to feel better, improve your mental health. Everything else is to give to organizations that are making the world a better place, because that transaction is worth way more than the dollars you actually put into it. So
I think that's really well said. And, you made a point about people and their time and how difficult it is to have an organization like ours. And I really want to impart the message that If you do want to give to a child and you have the time to do that, we're here to help you do that. Our organization interviews the big brother or sister, and then we interview the littles, and we find commonalities between those folks. And we have a lot of kids right now on our wait list, so we need those people to apply with us so we can find that perfect person for that kid. And we do that, and we make very intentional matches so they are long term. But then we have people supporting that match all the way through the match until the child turns 18 years old. So if you're not the person who knows absolutely everything on how to be a big or even how to be a parent, you don't have to be perfect. We all don't wear matching socks. It doesn't happen every single day in our life. We're here to help with professionally trained staff that will help you manage that relationship all the way through. So if you struggle a little with something you've seen, or you don't know exactly how to handle it, maybe you've never been a parent yourself, you just want to give back to a child in some way, we're here to help with that. So don't think that you're ever going to be on your own. You're not. You certainly meet with the child one-on-one, but we are always here to support that match. So we want to make it a lifelong match.
To get that support, if you want to do this, as Brenda just said, you need the support, or you're looking for support, you're not sure, you're a little uncertain, you have feelings like that, contact them. Contact you. Ask questions. That's the best way to do it, to get in. But the first step is just to get involved, right? So it's to go there, to ask the questions, ask the specific things that might be holding you back. And I'll tell you right now, the more you give to society, the more you give to the world, has a weird way of coming back. But that, when I say get, it's not like it always comes back in the form of more money, or that comes back in the form of, Lamborghinis and everything else, right? It can come back in the form of this great feeling that you get, and you carry that every single day. It helps you sleep. I mean, I would offend to say that it probably helps you sleep better, because when you feel better, you sleep better, you have less cortisol running through your veins and everything else. There's a lot of medical science behind that, but I am not a doctor. But I do know that, man, I'll tell you what, when you get involved, I've have volunteered in organizations, several organizations that have worked with younger children in kind of mentoring and things like that. So man, it is no better feeling than to get involved and to see the transition. You see somebody then that graduates, gets married, has a career, everything else, and to know that you had that impact is something that I think you can live. And
you facilitated them giving back. You're the one that was the example for that child to come back to us in the future and give back to the rest of the world. So as you said, it's a total legacy. So everybody has that capacity. So we encourage that.
Yeah. If you want everybody to become part of that solution, get them to be a part of be a big, but then get them to be a big, essentially, by creating such an experience, an amazing experience, for them. And I think that if we all do that, if we all get involved with our local big brothers, big sisters, this is possible. But in order to do that, we have to be able to spread stories like this, so we know we have a place to start, right?
Right.
So I would urge everybody that has watched today's story with Brenda here to hit the share button here on this video. Share it with everybody that to get involved. Share it with your professional network. Share it with family, friends. If we all do that, we can make a difference in this world. Be sure to go to bbbsns.org to get involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northern Sierra, Brenda, you're just amazing. I sense, really, really great energy, everything like that. I'm sure your staff and the team is very much just like that. So I think, for everybody else to get involved and to interact with you and to become part of that solution is really how we're going to make this world a better place.
You're absolutely right.
Any last words before we jump off here, Brenda?
I think my last words would be to be a part of an organization that you feel good about and that can make a difference. We try very hard to empower and ignite the promise of potential. That is our goal and our mission with this organization. So help us out and be involved and make the world a better place.
Yeah. And that's what we're all about, right?
That's
we make
right.
the world a better place by bringing more awareness to the great work of the people and organizations making a difference. And Brenda, you are a part of that difference. I am so excited to have met you. And I think for, if anything else, watching this video, if it just inspires you to take the next step, that is the goal of the Missions That Made Them, is to inspire you to take the next step, to be part of that solution. We're all about positivity. We're all about solution-oriented thinking, because solution-oriented thinking is how we're going to make change, right? Versus just creating entertainment. If this was just for entertainment, yeah, might get a few more views this here and there. But listen, if we can all be a part of sharing the stories of great organizations that are led by individuals like you, Brenda, great leaders like you, then I think this we're going to inspire other people to get involved into that process and to make the world a better place. So super, I really appreciate you coming on. I'd love to have you come back on too, to interview you. Cover some of the maybe some of the individual programs. Maybe we can get on with the story, an individual story. Maybe we can get a big, I guess you call it big and a little, right? Is that
We do.
Big and a little. Maybe we could have, a big and a little, talk a little bit about their experience, go a little bit further into some of the stories and get a little creative there. That's kind of where
we
we're taking
could make that happen. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah. So I'll get the info out. We'll get something scheduled here for that. But, for today, it was awesome. Get a chance to hear your story. And that's really the first step, right? For everybody listening here, is just to understand sort of the backstory, understand what these organizations do. If you haven't heard of them, to make sure that, you take the next step in checking out their website. But I think it would be awesome to have, a big and a little, get on there, talk about the story. Then that'll continue to keep inspiring people to take the next step. So
that'd be great. Let's do it.
Fantastic. Anything else here, Brenda, before we jump off?
I don't think so. I so appreciate your time today. Again, just give us a call, 530-626-1222, or visit our website at bbbsns.org. We'd love to talk to you.
Fantastic. And for everybody out here that watched today's interview, appreciate that. And be sure again to subscribe to like this video and share this video, subscribe to the Missions That Made Them. Here, if you're on YouTube, be sure to smack that bell so you can get notifications when we do new interviews. And with that said, thank you for watching.